Hello! The mystery of the Big Bang is solved. Now this has been a big mystery. How can everything come from nothing? Right? It can't. Everything we see. Now, we discovered this thing called sonoluminescence. And what it is in water, we're able to create a bubble while sending a high-pitched frequency sound wave. And when it hits the bubble, it creates an explosion out of nothing. And this explosion creates a heat source. And this heat source is self-sustaining. It's sustained solely by frequency. Now, we could use this as a type of energy, but the problem is it's such a small scale. But what this does do is gives us an idea of an explanation for the Big Bang. Now, the scientific world doesn't want to test this theory, and they don't want to promote this idea for the simple reason that the components are biblical. So we have a perfect explanation for the Big Bang through sonoluminescence, but the problem is these components are in the Bible. So in the Bible, it says, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth is without form." It says, "Void and darkness were on the face of the deep." Okay, so just nothingness and space. And it says, "The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters." So it's telling us there's a void, deep space of water. Okay, one of the components of sonoluminescence, obviously water, right? So the Bible gives us water. It tells us water was there. It says God moved upon the face of the waters. What's the second component in sonoluminescence that we need? Bubbles. God moved upon the face of the water. Hence moving, stirring up the water, hence creating bubbles. Right? And what's the next component? So the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, and God said. What's the next component in sonoluminescence? Sound waves. So we have the water, biblical. We have the bubbles, biblical. We have sound wave, biblical. And then what do we have? We have an explosion. And what does God say next? Let there be light. Boom. So we have a perfect explanation for the Big Bang in sonoluminescence. And not ironically, it lines up perfectly with the Bible. What God told us how it happened. So sonoluminescence, go look it up. It's a perfect explanation for the Big Bang. It's brilliant. They don't understand how it works. They don't understand why it works. You know, there's so little that they know about this because it's so far above our heads. Yet these components are in the Bible. It tells us this is how the world began. We have good reason to believe that the universe was created through an explosion. And not ironically, the process God gave us, when we utilize the process He gave us, it creates an explosion known as sonoluminescence. So, go look at sonoluminescence, and sound waves keep the sun burning, and we know that the entire universe creates its own sound waves, so it's a self-sustaining universe. Our universe is perpetual motion, right? That's why the scientists always tell you that eventually the sun is going to burn out. Eventually the sun is going to burn out, but that's not the case. When you look at sonoluminescence, as long as the frequencies are affecting the sun, it'll never burn out. And the universe is self-sustaining itself with its own frequencies. Sonoluminescence is a perfect example of the Big Bang. A perfect example of how everything can come from nothing. The only problem is that nothing requires components. And those components belong to God, and He put them in the Bible and told us about it thousands of years ago. He explained how the universe came to be. We now have the ability to witness what He told us and put it all together, but we won't do that because it proves the Bible. So, science and the Bible have been separated in this idea that they can't be together, yet they're one and the same. Right? God created science. God used science throughout the Bible to achieve His goals. It's ludicrous how they separate the two. But go look at sonoluminescence. It's the explanation for the Big Bang. It's the only one we got, the only theory that is plausible for what we know. And it's right there in front of our faces. God gave us the ability to mimic the Big Bang, the way He created the universe, on such a minor scale, with the incapability of doing it on His type of scale, because we are nothing, we're not nearly as powerful as He is. But we live in an amazing era, an amazing age, and we can actually witness the unknown. And it's too bad that this won't come to the forefront as the only explanation we have for the origins of the universe, simply because the components are biblical. Go look it up. Amazing. Sonoluminescence. I'll link it.